Alright, we back on sports, and I want to put it like this. Before we even get started, I want to let everyone know now that this week is going to be a very heavy basketball week when it comes to sports, due to the fact that there was so much that went on with the festivities with the NBA AllStar Game. But first, we have to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right. For those that did not see what happened not too long ago, Riley Cooper strikes again. Racist Riley. For those who don't know, a lot of people are very upset because of the fact that Riley Cooper was on the calendar for February, the Eagles calendar. He was the featured player on the Eagles calendar for February for Black History Month. Now, as you can see, the Eagles say that they're not responsible for the calendars. They're exactly right. That goes through a different company. However, I'll put it like this. If people are getting mad because Riley Cooper is on the February, month and the calendar, you've got to be kidding me. First off, I think this is hilarious. I think it is that people are making such a big deal out of it. As far as I'm concerned, if that's the first thing you fall back on and say, Black History Month, but come on, stop. Come on now. Look, I'll put it like this. Either way, I find it funny that someone either did it purposely and they were trolling, or they really didn't know. They just didn't, they were just putting players there. That's what they, planned on doing. I still find it funny. You shouldn't take it that serious. I understand if Riley Cooper had came out and said something else. A lot of people still hold that against him. I myself still hold that against him. However, I am not going to hold this against the Eagles when it comes to putting him on the calendar for February. When I first saw this article, I just laughed. It didn't stir up any anger in me. I was just like, you gotta be kidding, right? This is hilarious. That's what I thought. Seriously, relax, people. I want to move on with still the Eagles, but to another player, which is Nate Allen. Now, for those who don't know, Nate Allen has been arrested in Florida, I believe, because, check this out. Now, this is the weird story, because when we found out he was arrested, a lot of us, or like a lot of fans, I should say, because I was going to wait and see what the actual charges were, because when I read the article, they said they didn't know what they were getting him for yet. A lot of fans were saying, he should be gone. He should be cut. And I'll put it like this. I've seen a lot of arguments saying, well, look, Deshaun Jackson, he was cut for less. He never got arrested for anything. And Nate Allen did. And you already know as it is, a lot of fans don't like Nate Allen here in Philadelphia. So when I finally found out what happened, all right, Nate Allen, this is not Nate Allen's fault, all right? Apparently the guy went to a Red Lobster. He ate. He got in his car. He drove 3 blocks and then was stopped by the cops because a 16-year-old girl said that he exposed himself to her. So they took him in for questioning. They arrested him, took him in. They detained him. And then as they're asking this girl, the 16-year-old girl, all these questions on how it happened, she changes her story about 4 or 5 times. So because her story didn't add up, they let Nate Allen go. However, he said he was embarrassed. So I'm not going to hold it against Nate Allen. However, he does need to get better if he's going to stay on this team. I know a lot of people want him gone. I understand, fans. I get it. I really do. But you can't hold this arrest against him. You really can't. Since now that we know the story that this girl was just making things up, you can't hold it against him. I want to move on to more Philadelphia sports real quick. I want to talk about Philadelphia Phillies. For those who don't know, I'll leave the link in the info bar. The Philadelphia Phillies have had an offer to trade Cole Hamels to the Boston Red Sox. Now, look, I'll put it like this. There's one part of me that says, Cole Hamels, if you give him a chance to go to a different team, then he has a chance to win a World Series. He's still talented. He can go do that. You know what I mean? There's another part of me that says, Phillies, you got to start thinking about this type of thing when it comes to business. Because if you get rid of Cole Hamels, who's going to fill the seats? You going to leave Cliff Lee out there by himself? Seriously, is that what you're going to do? Ryan Howard or Chase Utley out there? Look, you've got Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, and Cliff Lee. If you get rid of Cole Hamels, which right now, because we don't know how Lee's going to be, if you get rid of your best pitcher, that's not going to make any sense. It's already bad enough that us Phillies fans are like, you know what? This season's already done because we don't know what's going on. CSN is trying to hype up the spring season because they're like, oh, it's going to be competitive. It's going to be fierce and all this competition, and people should be excited. No. Did you see that roster? There is nothing to be excited about right now. At all. If you think that people are going to come running in droves to the Phillies game looking at that roster, you've got to be kidding me. And we've been seeing this all off-season. Or should I say, not much off-season due to the fact that you haven't really made any moves. You signed Don Brown again, which people were against. You're still trying to find a place for Papelbon to go because of what he did last year, because nobody cares about him anymore. I mean, let's be honest here. Before the season started and it was spring training, what did Papelbon say? He said, you should bet on the Phillies to win the World Series. Then halfway through the season, he's like, I want to get traded because this team sucks, pretty much. That's what he did. So, of course, fans don't like him anymore. People are not going to come to see him anymore. It's time that you move him. if you can, and get something for him. I don't care what it is. Some bats, something. Get something for him. It's ridiculous. Now I want to move on to basketball. I want to talk about this. We have to talk about this right now. And I want Sixers fans to listen very, very clearly, because you should be taking a cue right now from Knicks fans, all right? For those who don't know what happened, the Knicks, James Dolan, goes off on one of their fans when one of their fans says, look, I'm tired of seeing this. This is embarrassing. I've been a fan for years. There is no way that after all the moves that you made, that this is okay to put this type of quality product out there. And James Dolan goes off on him. So let's hear what James Dolan actually said to this fan.
Email's all about. Hold your thought. For those who did not know, here's a part of the email Knicks fan, Irving Bierman. This is the part of it that he sent to James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks. Quote, as a Knicks fan for an excess of 60 years, I am utterly embarrassed by your dealings with the Knicks. Sell them so their fans can at least look forward to growing them in a positive direction. You have done a lot of utterly stupid business things with the franchise. Please, no more. Well, Dolan sent a response that read in part, quote, you most likely have made your family miserable. Alcoholic, maybe. I just celebrated my 21-year anniversary of sobriety. You should try it. Maybe it will help you become a person that folks would like to have around. In the meanwhile, start rooting for the Nets, because the Knicks don't want you. So
an owner tells a fan, obviously you have an alcoholic problem. Your family doesn't know the guy. Your family doesn't want to be around you. You're a horrible person, and the Knicks don't want you. All because this fan is upset with the product that's on the court. Damn! That is cold-blooded. Now see, things like that is uncalled for, as far as I'm concerned. And Knicks fans you should know by now, if you've been talking to Knicks fans, if you know any Knicks fans, they have been upset with Dolan for a very long time. If you look at all the moves he's made and all the players he's gotten rid of, and they've gone on to become stars somewhere else, it's absolutely ridiculous. The Knicks fan base have every right to be upset. Okay? They do. But when you have an owner that comes out and says something like this, you can't do that. Especially when you're losing, you can't do that. That is absolutely disrespectful. And I put it like this. If he does it to one fan, then he's saying that pretty much the entire fan base who has the same feeling. So to say that the Knicks don't want you, you're not just saying it to him. No, you're saying it to everyone. And I put it like this, because this is what I mean, Sixers fans. You need to take a cue from Knicks fans, because we're just, if not worse, because the Knicks have beaten us. All right? So we're just as worse. And I don't see people going off. By the way, Sixers lose again, and our coach once again is saying, hey, I'm proud of our players. Really? You're proud of our players with this type of record? Brett Brown will not be here long enough to see his vision come true. And the only big announcement the Sixers made over the week was that they unveiled a new mascot. Who cares? Really, who cares? I mean, is that going to bring people to see the game? No, it's not. Is that going to equate the wins? No. But that's not, I don't want to bag on the Sixers too much today, because I want to get back to the Knicks, all right? But those who don't know, the Knicks bought out Amare Stoudemire. Now, a lot of Knicks fans are very happy. They almost damn near partying in the streets when Amare left, because they were so happy he was gone, because he was taking up so much money and not doing anything. He wasn't. Let's be honest here. Before pre-Melo, he still wasn't even that good. He wasn't. That was the answer to, well, LeBron was supposed to come to New York, but then he went to Miami, so we got to go grab somebody real quick to shut the fan base up. Let's be honest here. That's what it was, okay? But Amare, he said his goodbyes and all these things. People are not going to forget, the red wine baths. People are not going to forget, because Amare keeps saying, he should be remembered for, trying his hardest in New York. No, this is what you'll be remembered for, Amare, your lack of defense. Now I want to move on to the NBA AllStar Weekend, or should I call it the Trash Weekend. Look, people like myself for years and many other fans in the NBA have said to you, what NBA? What we said? When you're going to do this AllStar Weekend, please make it better. Make it something that we can watch. And what do you do to improve it? What was your answer to try and improve it, huh? Anybody? You tried to give us a damn fashion show. Don't nobody want to see that. And here's the thing. They did that purposely because for those who see the fashion show and then afterwards, Russell Westbrook for True Religion and stuff like that. Let's get something straight here. They're trying to sell you products. And a lot of you people that watch the NBA, you can't afford the damn stuff. And they want you to run out and buy their stuff. That's what it is. It's marketing the entire damn time to people who can't afford this stuff, who are going to break their neck and try to get it anyway, then later say, well, I don't have the money to pay the rent, or I don't have the money to keep the electric on, or I don't have the money to keep cable on, or water on, or whatever. It's ridiculous that you would even think that, hey, we can improve the weekend by giving you a fashion show. No one gave a damn. It goes to show you that the NBA is not listening not only to their fans, but how soft they're becoming. It's ridiculous. And let's start about soft. Let's talk about the NBA celebrity basketball game. It's an absolute joke. It's been a joke for years. We've said this before. There has to be a way to fix this. You do not need a celebrity game. These guys and girls are out there really not trying hard, because let's be honest here, all right? A lot of people don't even play basketball. Listen, we already know Nick Cannon has come, I think he's come full circle at this point, where he, like I said, last season he was wearing shirts to say, I don't even play basketball, and he was still out there on the court. He didn't care. You know what I mean? The women showed more promise than the men did, this celebrity game. Kevin Hart got the MVP, which made absolutely no sense, but it's a fan vote, so whatever. It was actually kind of funny that he won that. However, when you're seeing all these people comment, why is Common still out here on the court? He can't play. He can't. I don't know who keeps pushing this guy that thinks he can play. Like I said, when he came to Philly the one time, talking about he going to play basketball in skinny jeans. Don't know how to play no damn basketball in skinny jeans. What's wrong with you? You can't play basketball. You was getting housed all day. I'm sorry, but Common, you cannot play defense 4 feet off the ball and expect to stop someone. And whoever you're playing, every time you're on the court, you're getting torched. And I mean just jump shots, because you're not playing up on the person. All right? And then you're sitting on the bench and you're sweating. From what? You've been sitting on the bench for 10 minutes. You're not doing anything. Are the lights too bright for you, Common? What's going on here? You are garbage when it comes to basketball. Do what you do best. Stick to rap, because you were great at that. All right? You were great at that. And if some people like your acting, that's fine too. But stay off the court, please. Stay off the court. And other people who need to stay off the damn court. Sarah Silverman. And I want to say this because we talked about this during the Super Bowl halftime show with all those commercials. Sorry, it's a boy. Or like a girl. Well, Sarah Silverman, guess what? You got out there and you didn't do a damn thing on the court, did you? Other women had to lead the way because you sure as hell didn't do a damn thing. Running up and down the court and do nothing. Did you even touch the ball? I don't even remember if you touched the ball or not. I believe you probably touched it once or twice, and then you passed it off to women who know how to play basketball. Stay in your lane, okay? That's what you need to do. Sorry, it's a boy. Yeah, You can learn something from both boys and girls when it comes to that game, okay? Now, I will say this, all right? As we know, Monet was there, Philly's own, Taney Dragons. They brought her out to play. And I want to say this, all right, because Philly.com, we talked about this on Twitter. Monet Davis did a spin move on Kevin Hart, all right? Down in the low, almost in the low post, right? Did spin move, layup. Philly.com was like, you should see this spin move. Oh my God, it was so amazing. And we it's just a regular spin move. You see that from kids all the time on the playground. And it's like they just hyped it up. I'm like, why are you hyping this up? You gotta be kidding me. This is what happens when the media, and this is what I mean. I understand that, media has to do their job and hype up certain things. But when you're doing something that's as basic as a spin move on a basketball court, and you hype it up, it almost makes me feel as though the person, whoever was doing CBS's Twitter, never watched basketball before, ever in their life. That's what it felt like. It was just sad, and of course a bunch of us jumped all over him, it was like, yep, I guess you just do this regular dribble, and then, they'll get hyped for that too. But people, like I said, people who don't deserve to be on the court, like I said, Sarah Silverman, the one guy, he was so bad, I don't even know his damn name, from Grey's Anatomy, mind you. This celebrity game is very lighthearted. Nobody is playing hard. So tell me how this guy gets legit injured during the game. Mind you, it looked like he rolled his ankle, but then they're like, it was an ACL tear, or he destroyed his leg. If you look at the articles, everyone's saying he destroyed his leg. And he's like, well, us old guys can't get out there. The guy's 32! That's not old to play basketball! This goes to show you that these dudes don't play basketball. Stay off the court! Stay off it! Seriously, oh my God. And I don't feel bad for him at all. I don't feel bad for him. I don't. Because when you make comments like us old guys need to, I don't have it like I used to in my 20s. I'm not trying to hear that, man. I'm not. I play against guys. They said there's guys out there on the court that are 50 years old, hustling. They outrun some of the young guys. You tell us old guys, you 32, bruh. Don't try to hear that. It's just an excuse. Do yourself a favor. Once again, stick with acting. All right, stick with acting. That's what you're getting paid for. Stick with acting. Don't step on the damn court. All right? And it's sad because Every time I'm seeing these celebrity games, I swear, in the early 2000s, I'll say early 2000s, maybe mid, I won't say early, all right? There's only one celebrity basketball game that I ever thought that was actually good. And that was at the Leocore Center here when Master P and his No Limit team rolled in here. And it was crazy because when we walked in there, we was like, all right, this is going to be another thing. You had Silk the Shocker out there, Master P, all them was playing, you know what I mean? And then we got to the seats because we had, really close seats. And we watched the game, and this was our reaction. Because the No Limit team put on such a great show. I mean, people was getting dunked on left and right. This is a celebrity game. So people came to ball. It was like watching street ball, just indoors. That's all it was. And when I mean street ball, I mean legit basketball. We're not talking and one garbage, all right, where you can just carry and travel all day and people ooh and ah. No. They actually took a bunch of street balls. It's like, all right, we're going to put you on and y'all going to play in the hardwood, but y'all still going to play real ball. But they were celebrities, you know what I mean? So it was like, okay, it just goes to show you that Master P at the time and his No Limit team, you can tell they was from the hood. You can tell they grew up in the environment where it was like you played ball, you rapped, you know what I mean? That's what you did. You know what I mean? And you weren't just good at one thing. You excelled at a number of things. Unlike what we're seeing now. So when I see ESPN and I see their celebrity game, it's like the very, I don't even want to call it very, it's the lowest common denominator. It's the vanilla version of a celebrity game. And it gets high praise for some reason. I don't know why. Especially with Common, when you're getting torched by Justin Bieber, just stop. Just stop. All right? Just stop. And I'm not trying to hear people say, oh, Justin Bieber got handled. No. Understand. Justin Bieber been watching too many and one tapes. That's what he's been doing. And you have to understand, in real basketball, that's not going to fly. Okay? But it just goes to show you that even some of the real people that they had out there, basketball players, they actually, they were just taking a back seat. Scottie Pippen is out there, you know what I mean, during the team the team play, when they had you get a WNBA player, one current NBA player, and then a person that's, from the legends or history in general, older players that are not in the game anymore. Scottie Pippen's out there with a mohawk just killing things. I'm like, okay, Scottie, Dominique Wilkins, neat, out there killing. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show you that after the celebrity game was out the way, when you got to the real competitions, it actually wasn't that bad. Well, at least it wasn't that bad. The three-point contest was not that bad. We kind of figured that someone from Golden State was going to win. We saw that, all right? Kyrie Irving did try to put on a good show, though. He did, all right? The guards, when they did their skills competition, I said on Twitter, what did I say? I said, I was very upset, from the previous season that we've seen that guys weren't playing hard because these kids that they're representing, whoever wins gets a scholarship. So you better act like you want to play. You better, no laid back things. Go ahead and try to play. So they actually played somewhat hard during that skills competition. I was actually, I was pretty glad to see that, because the kids, they need that money, Also, was it three-point contest, skills competition, team shooting? That was great. Slam dunk contest. Let's get to this right now, man. Let's get to this because this is absolutely atrocious, all right? First off, they've already made articles saying that there's only 6 seconds worth of, slam dunk contest that was worth watching, all right? And as we know, that was the winner of the slam dunk contest. However, I will say this. I want to make this very clear about Plumlee because I had said this on Twitter, and you guys and girls that have been, watching me on Twitter, I said, why do I get the feeling that Plumlee from Brooklyn is going to be the 05 Birdman slam dunk contest? Because he had a lot of hype coming in because of the fact that it was being in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? And then he gets out there, and he's 6'11", and he does nothing. It's yawn-worthy. The one time he tried to jump over a guy, and he had to use his arm to push off on the guy because he couldn't jump over him. All right, to make the slam dunk. This was a joke. Why are you there? Sit down. Nobody did anything. Oladipo, he tried, but you can tell his execution wasn't that good. You know what I mean? So even though he made the dunks, they barely went in. And besides, you got to think, fatigue starts to set in when you keep missing and missing. And listen, Plumlee the same way. 3 chances, missed. Everyone was like, you got to be kidding me. You cannot be this big and miss. And I'm not trying to hear that, they got verticals. You are 6'11". You don't even have to jump that much. You really don't. You can put your arm up and grab damn rim. Damn near. You have to think, rim's what, 10 feet? You're 6'11". With a wingspan. Come on, man. That's why I don't understand. So for these guys to say, oh, they're just athletes, and they're showing, the highlights before they get ready to dunk and what they can do, what they can't do. And all you see is Plumlee jump up and do this same old wannabe Charles Barkley gorilla dunk. It's like, okay, that's all we're seeing. You're not showing me anything that says I should root for you when it's time for you to dunk. And he didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Oladipo, the only time, let's be real here, all right? The only time that Oladipo had any type of crowd reaction was when he came out singing. That was it. Like he was auditioning for American Idol. That's what he did. All right? And I like Oladipo, but you gotta be kidding me if you thought that was gonna fly. All right? So as far as I'm concerned, the slam dunk contest was a failure, but hey, slam dunk champion, he carried it. He carried it, even though I felt as though his last two dunks were safe because he went through the legs. He went one side between the legs, and then he went to the other side between the legs. It was safe just to solidify, his championship. That's all it was. But he deserved it. You know what I mean? So he's the only person that it almost made me feel like he was the only person that showed up or practiced hard for his dunks. You know what I mean? He practiced to get it down. That's what it felt like. You know what I mean? And LeBron came out and said that he regrets not going into the slam dunk contest. Well, look, bruh. All right, you said before during the slam dunk contest that you was going to be in it, and then you fell back on that, and now all of a sudden you're regretting it. I'm not trying to hear it, man. And I'm not trying to hear at this point that he's regretting not doing it when he's younger. You can do it now if you wanted to. You could. Especially with your popularity. I guarantee if you do a regular tomahawk dunk these days, like you do every other time, people will give you a 10. They will give you a 10. Don't tell me you still can't get up and do that type of stuff. We can see how high you jump. We see the momentum that you have when you're running. Don't tell me you can't do this stuff anymore. You can't. No, I'm not trying to hear that. All right? So if he really wanted to do it, he could. And I don't know people going to say, well, age is catching up. Have you seen the guy play? Have you seen him? All right, anyways. I do want to talk more about LeBron James, because for those who don't know, we talked about it last week, or was it last week before, about how he went over Chris Paul's head and went to Adam Silver and said that he wanted fewer back-to-backs and things of that nature, right? And I said it's wrong because Chris Paul is the players' union. He's the president. You go to him first before you go to Adam Silver. I said LeBron is just looking for power at this point. Well, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I will put the link in the info bar. LeBron James has now been elected as the vice president, that's right, of the players' union. And also in the info bar, Adam Silver says that he is going to look to reduce the number next season of back-to-backs. That's right. So, once again, whatever LeBron wants, LeBron gets. That's what it comes down to. Matter of fact, I think we need to see some more ridiculous things. I want to talk about the Griffin Force flop of the week. That's right. For those who did not see, this week's flop goes to John Wall. That's right. And here's the thing I have to notice about John Wall, all right? Because I was looking through videos to see how much he flops, and then I came across all these videos absolutely kissing his ass. That's right, because apparently that's what you do these days. Apparently, as a fan base, it almost made me feel like it was hard to find flops. It almost felt that it was that way, all right? But they do exist. I know. Now, look, John Wall, when he first came into the league, I did not like him, okay? I didn't, because he was just dancing and carrying on and acting a fool, and he was always running 100 miles an hour, and he wasn't letting the game come to him. He seems to have matured. He has slowed down. He's starting to, realize what he can do. But when I saw this flop, for those who know what I'm talking about, okay, this guy draws an offensive foul. He's playing defense, okay? Draws an offensive foul because the player has his back turned, his arms out, and he clotheslines himself on the player's arm.
Matches its largest lead of 12.
Come on, man. You gotta be kidding me. Look. I think that John Wall is a great player, okay? But when you're doing stuff like this, my respect for you goes down. Same thing with Chris Paul. I thought Chris Paul was a great player. Did I start seeing all these flops? Chris Paul, what the hell are you doing, Chris Paul? You know what I mean? John Wall, like I said, he's a great player, but you can't, oh my God. You can't do that, man. Look, speaking of great players, all right? We've talked about it since the Super Bowl. We talked about with Marshawn Lynch, about the media and things of that nature. For those that didn't know what happened over the week, all right? Over the AllStar Weekend, I should say. Kevin Durant goes off on the media. That's right, because when he's questioned about his coach possibly leaving, OKC, he tells the media that they don't know shit, and then he goes off on them. I want you to listen to what Kevin Durant says, because they're going to talk about it in the media. Of course, the media gets all, their panties in a bunch over it. But listen to what Kevin Durant says, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, so check this out.
The image of Kevin Durant is not on a court. It's during a press conference when he won the league MVP last year. Durant, in tears, thanked his mother and teammates for making him the player and person he is today. And just like that, Durant was a media darling. This weekend, though, we saw a different side of the MVP when he met with the media during All-Star festivities. There weren't tears of thank you. There were verbal punches thrown amid reports that his coach, Scott Brooks, could be on the hot seat. Here's what Durant had to say, and I quote, "You guys really don't know bleep. To be honest, man, I'm here talking to y'all because I have to, so I really don't care. Y'all not my friends. You're going to write what you want to write. You're going to love us one day and hate us the next. That's part of it. So I just learned how to deal with y'all." As you would imagine, plenty of reactions to Durant's comments.
Kevin Durant turned on the media, but has mostly groomed him for 7 to 8 years.
He had a blueprint for how to not do it a couple years ahead of him, watching what LeBron had to go through.
What did he say that surprised you? We're not friends.
No, and I'm glad he recognizes that.
I don't know if I've ever seen an athlete that's been treated better than Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, for me, is getting more and more difficult to love as a basketball player and an NBA personality. We have kind Kevin, then not kind Kevin. Friday, he attacked the credibility of the media voters who just last year voted Kevin Durant the MVP of this league.
The number one reason I like it is because Kevin Durant gave us some insight into how most, if not all of these dudes, and not just in the NBA, but professional sports feels about the media.
First off, let's talk about the arrogance of the media, the way they reacted. That first one, just starting right from the beginning, all right? To say that you groomed Kevin Durant, you didn't groom him into anything, all right? Kevin Durant got to the NBA due to the fact that off of his blood, sweat, and tears, the support of his family and friends. Don't sit here and say that the media helped him in any certain way, because when he has a bad game or whatever, you're quick to judge him. You're quick to throw him under the bus, but when he has a good game, then you want to give him credit, all right? So understand, when he says that you're not friends, that's what he means. Because friends don't constantly throw people under the bus. Friends don't look for stories to dig on people and dig dirt on people. That's not what friends do, okay? That's what it comes down to. That's what we saw with Marshawn Lynch. What did he say? Y'all not home with me. You know, you're not home with me when I see you. We don't hang out and things like that. You're not in my neighborhood, because that's what the media does. All year we saw that. It's the same thing with every athlete, because if you don't live up to their expectations that they give you when it comes to being a god among men, well, then you're not worth anything. And we saw that not too long ago. Remember the video I did before Andrew Wiggins came into the league? And they were like, oh, Andrew Wiggins had a bad game. Well, he's not living up to the hype that we thought. And then he went out the next game and dropped 48 on him. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's how the media treats athletes. So, of course, if athletes have, if they're saying, look, this is something I have to deal with. And it's said, we see this before time and time again. You have to talk to the media, but you got to be careful what you say, because you'll get fined. It's ridiculous. But this is the thing, this is the crunch that they put athletes in. They know that they have to deal with it. You think they want to talk to the media every time there's a win or a loss after being tired and playing a game? No. They just want to go home or go to the next game, get on the road or go to the hotel, whatever, and not be bothered. But you got to shove microphones in your face. And anyone who's ever seen it, every time there's a press conference, there's always that one idiot that puts the microphone right here in front of athletes like this. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you don't need that. Like, you're violating their personal space, let alone, like I said, when someone comes out and says, look, I don't like you people, they've had enough. They've had enough with the media because of the constant tricks and trades that you do. All you got to do is turn on SportsCenter and see them bagging with somebody. Look how they did Miami when LeBron went there. Look how they did Cleveland this year earlier when LeBron was there. That's all he kept doing was bagging on them. Then when they start winning, then it's praise LeBron again. That's what the media does. They flip-flop. They aren't your friends. And it's good that some people in the media realize that, but then you have people like Skip Bayless, who's like, well, it's hard for me to, to keep liking him as a player. What has he done as a player? What's wrong with him? He's played his game. He's still a good player. I don't understand what you mean. It's starting to become hard for you to like him. Or as a personality. What do you mean as a personality? He's a person in general. So he said, we get good, we get nice to Kevin Durant, then we get nasty Kevin Durant. It doesn't matter. Guess what? People have different sides to him, because if you piss them off, you're going to get that heat. It's that simple. It seems like people, the players are not allowed to have emotions. Like they're only supposed to be one thing so that it fits your public image. No, he gave you the real. That's what he did. I don't like you. You're not friends. I'm only here because I have to be here. He's telling you the truth. And it seems like you don't want to deal with reality, media. You are the problem. but yet blame the player for saying it, right? Not all the things that you've done that led up to this. Now, a lot of people, like I said, well, we've helped Kevin Durant. We've praised Kevin Durant throughout the years. So what? So what? If that's how he feels, he should be able to express himself on that's how he feels. See, once again, we have this thing where the media thinks that they're bigger than the players or bigger than the sport. And that's the arrogance that comes with the media. This is why a lot of people don't like the media, especially here in Philadelphia, when you're always fishing for something. Always. I have no problems with what Kevin Durant said, and it should be a good eye-opener to media, all right? You're not going to dinner with these guys. You're not sitting down and hanging out with these guys and their kids and things of that nature. Stop acting like they're your friends, because they're not. He's letting you know right at the door. But yet, for some reason, you get all offended by that. I don't know why, because that's reality. But yet, he's wrong for that. Now he's going to be the bad guy. And people are like, he's going to get fined for saying that. I think he will be fined. Well, you never know. Kevin Durant and any other player, for that matter, has the right to say. It doesn't matter if they're an all-star or they're a bench warmer. Doesn't matter. They have the right to feel that way. But yet, you want to take that away from them. It's absolutely ridiculous how much they're limited when it comes to speech. It's crazy. All right? Skip Bayless should be ashamed of himself. I used to like him, but it's making it harder for me. Well, who the hell are you? Who are you? Other than some wacko guy who trolls online. Or trolls on your show. That's what you do. Like you're nobody. Like I said, you can be replaced. I guarantee you, if Skip Bayless got fired today, and he was replaced and never was seen again, people forget it. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. So it doesn't matter. But it goes to show you that this is what they do, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of people that are absolutely ridiculous, referees. And you know I was wanting to do this, right? I guess we should start to blame that ref thing, I think, at this point. Look, understand. The Flyers game. Look, the Flyers, all right. Look, they had a hard game with the Buffalo Sabres, all right? But understand, referees, how do you not call this play when Vinny LeCavalier is on a breakaway and the guy holds him and you call nothing? You have how many eyes on the ice, on the field, on the court? It's a breakaway, and you still missed it. This is why referees have to be able to take criticism. This is why players should be able to come out and say, hey, look, these refs are bad. They should be able to, but don't criticize the referees. No, because you'll be fine and carrying on. You got to be kidding me. There's no way you can miss that. But yet, for some reason, they did. Go figure. Look, I understand, like I said before, referees are human. They're going to miss calls. But something as big and blatant as that, when it's on a breakaway, because everyone's looking to see the breakaway, and you don't call this, there's a problem. A big problem. But it seems like, yeah, that's okay now. That's okay. Let's just, for some reason, act like it didn't happen, and fans who complain about it are just whining. Yeah, because that's the way to go about it. Not to improve yourself and make the sport better. No. Let's just chalk it up to fans being, complaining and whining. You've got to be kidding me. Sad. Absolutely sad. Like I said, today is just, I feel bad for players that are stuck in these type of situations where they know something is garbage and they can't speak up. It's sad because, and I think that all leagues need to work on that. You have to be able to take criticism. Players take criticism, they take criticism on their performance all the time. Referees should be able to. You know what I mean? Owners should have to take criticism. Coaches should have to take criticism. You know what I mean? General managers, VPs, presidents, owners, they all should be able to take it. I mean, it's not just a business, but even if you want to just call it a business, you have to understand that you have to be able to deal with that. Because you're trying to please a fan base. That's what you're trying to do. And not just of said team, but of the sport itself. Because they want that integrity. You can't do this and think that it's going to be okay. The players have every right to say something. They do. And I think it's just very unfair for players to not be able to say something without being scrutinized like that. Especially when something like that blatantly it's a blown call. Seriously, I don't understand how you missed that. But that's what they do. Anyways, I'm done. I'm done. Because all I'm going to do is get pissed off more and rant more about it, and that's not helping anybody. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. And you know what? I really want to push this back to tomorrow to see what was going to come out today news-wise, but I had to get this out because I have so much to do. So when more sports comes out, we'll reload for next week, all right? I'll talk to you, and y'all be safe. I'm out.